In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. I am one of your hosts, Sean Donnelly, joined by my co-host,
Andy Fiore!
Andy Fiore!
Hey, everybody. Good to be back.
Good to be back. We were sorry we took a hiatus week. We just had one week of no show. We apologize for that, but now we're back, and we're excited. We are dealing with the weather here in New York. It's our first snowfall, which kind of seems early, I think.
November 15th.
November
if we're
15th.
pulling back the curtain, we release this tomorrow, but...
It's so funny, too, because I was watching, as it's snowing, with my roommate, Robert Dean, who's a very funny comic. We're watching Dual Survivor, whatever it's called. It's like two guys surviving in the wilderness on Discovery Channel.
Yeah, like Naked and Afraid.
Like Dual
and
Survive.
Yeah.
But one of the guys is like a normal like wilderness guy, and the other one is just like this hippie guy with braids that's like appropriating Native American culture.
Ugh.
And he just like maybe he's Native American, I don't know, but he has all these. He's obsessed with poop. He just constantly is talking about different animals' poop and the nutrients you can get from it and all this. Like there's a scene where they're in like the plains of something, and he's like, "Oh, elephant poop," and he starts picking this fruit that doesn't get digested out of elephant poop and eating it. It's disgusting.
Yeah, all right,
but as
down,
we're watching, we watched one episode that was like in the, like the plains of, I think it was one, I forget what state it was, and they were like showing you how to survive in the plains, and then I walked outside. I'm like, thank God I watched this so I could survive the New York,
Yeah.
the New York snow. But I said to Robert, I was like, they should have a New York version of this.
Yeah.
That is like, because they're like, you get ocean water and condensate it,
like
condense
desalinate it.
Yeah, exactly, desalinate it. And I'm like, it'd be good, like, how to survive in New York, like, during a parade. And then you're just like, if you don't see food for a while, look for a $1 pizza spot.
Look for a mozzarella vendor. Dude, that is funny you mention that, too, because sometimes, and I did this a lot more when I first moved to the city, I will walk down New York City streets, and sometimes I'll be like, if I'm ever homeless, that's a great spot. That's a good spot.
Oh, where to look?
Yeah.
And then, sometimes you see homeless people that are really good at being homeless.
Yeah.
Like guys that have their home set up and they're underneath a thing and they have a little camp out section with other people. And I feel like that's the best way. Like over in the West Village, they have a bunch of those, right?
Yeah, maybe put that work.
But then you have some people that just sat where they were, just laid down where they were. And a couple times I was like, are you dead? Like, I think you're dead. Like,
I've had some close calls before where I was like, don't know.
I had one right by here in Alphabet City one time.
East Village is big.
Yeah, it's big. Where the guy was halfway on the sidewalk, halfway off, just sprawled out, like drunk. And I'm like, he's dead. I thought he was dead. I'm like, he's dead.
Yeah.
And to the point where a group of people, we all congregated.
Should we do something?
Should we do something? So I called
poke him with a stick.
I called 911. Yeah, poke him with a stick. I called 911. And then I'm like, oh, we're heroes. We're going to save this almost dead guy. And then sure enough, they show up, the ambulance, and they walk out and they look at him. They take one look at him. They go, Phil, what are you doing, Phil? Get up. And then he's not getting up. And I'm like, no, man, he's dead. They're like, he's not dead.
Just Phil.
It's just Phil.
Plays possum real good.
Yeah. And he goes, come on, man. And I don't know. He goes, whatever. And he just gets up and walks away. And I'm like,
my God.
Are you kidding me? I'm like, we were so
name.
worried about you, Phil, you idiot. Like, don't at least get some style to how you plop yourself down. Like, don't do it halfway off the sidewalk, halfway on.
That's the level of drunk or druggedness. I mean.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. You have to be. Think about how zonked out you have to be.
I've been pretty zonked before.
Me too, but I've never been like.
And I've made it home.
I've never lied like a dead person in the street.
Yeah.
Of New York City. I think I have that beacon on me of like, I know not to get in the ground, no matter how drunk I am.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A girl I date off and on again a couple months ago, maybe longer than that, called me late one night. We were out together, but we weren't going home together yet. We were kind of sleeping, whatever.
Yeah.
calls me. I am literally pulling up to my house in a cab. She goes, hey, so I'm at home, but there was like this really drunk kid, and he was just like dead outside my building. I'm like, okay. She's like, so I brought him inside.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, we're like in the hallway, like in your vestibule, like in the doorway.
In your
She's
apartment?
like, he's sleeping in my bed right now. I'm like, what are you?
what,
Are
is she
you
crazy?
insane? She goes, would you come over and like pretend?
Oh my God.
I go, yeah, I guess I have to. I mean, not only would I mean, yeah, I would have done it, but like, imagine if the guilt trip if this guy.
Of course.
I got there and was screaming at him, like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? He turned out to be like this college kid from Ohio. I eventually woke him up and like got him out of there. I'm like, I don't care who he is. Get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I know
right.
it might sound insensitive, but by the time we woke him up, we gave him a water and he was like, my fucking friends, and he was fine. Like, we put him in a cab.
Yeah, right.
But I was just like,
And
so
also,
you can't
he'll
go
be
around-
fine.
But like, she was like, if you saw him dead on the sidewalk, I'm like, you step over him.
Call
You don't-
the cops.
Yeah, you don't fucking give him a home,
No.
cook him breakfast.
You know what? That's the other thing about, and I'm all for. I am a big proponent of equality, but if you're a 90-pound girl, please don't do that.
Yes.
Please don't do that, and then call for help. Like, either handle it yourself, or
Right.
just don't do it. Like, you have to have some kind of street smarts here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Can you imagine? So,
Oh my God.
New York City, folks.
New York, only in New
Greatest
York.
city in the world.
Am I right?
The city's so nice, they named it twice.
Did
We got a
you
big
see any
one today.
movies?
I
This
did.
week?
I watched, since we've been gone, we were off 2 weeks now. So I watched not as many as I thought, just two since we last
What'd you watch?
Ocean's 8.
How was it?
Okay.
Yeah,
It was
just decent?
obviously the female version of Ocean's franchise.
Right.
11,
Speaking
12,
of
13.
equality,
Yes, exactly.
do you think there was anybody out there that heard the title and was like, "Why does it have to be Ocean's 8?"
Well, yeah. 2/3 of what math, I don't even know if that math works.
I don't think it does, but okay, it might. I don't know.
It was fine. It was entertaining. Those heist movies are fun because it's like they're clever in the way they put together the heist and the tricks and the trades and the gadgets they have.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the reason why it has a big thing to live up to because the Ocean's 11 with Clooney and those guys,
I love.
it's amazing.
I can rewatch all the time.
It's better than the Sinatra one.
Yeah,
like, I don't think
by far.
I think that is like this weird opinion that is just a general opinion in film, but nobody brings it up because they're like you want to
Yeah,
sound
he's such an
uncool
icon.
by
Right.
saying that.
No, I'll say it. It's much better.
It's much better.
Yeah.
But the only good thing about the first one was the cast. The whole rest of the movie was like whatever.
Okay, so the cast was really fun in Ocean's 8. It had Anne Hathaway,
It had
Sandra Bullock's
Awkwafina.
kind of. She's Danny Ocean's sister. She's an Ocean, is how they.
Oh,
work
Sandra
that.
Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. She's Dana Ocean or whatever. And yeah, really good cast. And like I said, I was entertained the whole time. I didn't love it, but it was a cool heist movie. in the end.
They had that same plot system where it was like everything ties in, like that kind of thing. Where you're like, they were-
100%.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I love
it's
that
cool
stuff.
because it makes it a surprise at the
Yeah.
end, and they have a person who has a job for everything. They have the hacker.
Yeah, was Awkwafina the hacker?
Awkwafina was not the hacker.
Was Rihanna
she
the hacker?
Was, Rihanna was the hacker.
Yeah.
Awkwafina was I don't know what she was. She was the Asian. I don't know how, whatever.
Holy shit! We're gonna get a lot of letters this week on this show.
I know you can cut that
This
part
is
out.
really becoming a real alt-right radio show.
I just, for lack of a better job.
What do you think this
description-
is? The Kumia
What was her
Network?
job title? Something with math. I don't know.
What was the other movie you saw?
Sorry to bother you. Which
How was it?
I didn't like it.
People loved it.
I know, and
we have friends that are in it.
Yeah,
Well, Jermaine Fowler.
Fowler's got a pretty sizable part, and
Yeah.
I was excited to see Jermaine. But yeah, it was a little. It gets crazy meta, and it wasn't for me. I can see why people would jizz over it.
It didn't have
I mean,
a Charlie Kaufman vibe to it.
It kind of did, but.
It was like almost like fantasy.
It gets cartoonish and fantasy. I mean, it goes off the rails
yeah.
to the point where I was like, all right. And but I like the I don't remember his name. I like the actor who was the
I
he's
forget his name too.
yeah, he's in Atlanta, and I really enjoy him in Atlanta. I like Atlanta a lot, and
Atlanta's amazing.
yeah, really great show, and he's really good in it, and he carries the whole movie. It just wasn't for me. I just didn't love it. And I think it got maybe a little hyped for me because everybody's like, I loved it.
Yeah, it got really hyped up.
So-
the only thing I did that I remember because I did watch some other movie. I forget what it was, but I forget the title. But I watched a portion of Baby Driver when I was away.
Okay.
And I remember seeing, that's one of those movies that the trailer looked awesome.
Yeah.
And then you see the movie and you're like, first off, Kevin Spacey's in it.
Yeah.
It was pre Kevin Spacey
Yeah.
being banned from Hollywood.
I know.
And I don't, I watched it still and
Yeah,
who
yeah.
cares. But I see why people didn't like it. It's like not good.
I liked it.
Oh, you did like
Yeah.
it? Really?
Uh-huh.
You weren't. Jamie Foxx didn't annoy the shit out of you in that movie?
No. And he usually does.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think I'm at the point where I'm like done with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I can see that.
I
I completely understand that.
you know what I mean? Like, I can't. Especially with this movie, I'm like, he's not even like Jamie Foxx. I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but he's a bad actor in Baby Driver.
I don't remember it well enough. I watched it a while ago now,
Also,
but
like,
I liked it.
They make him like this over the top, aggressive, like criminal character, and I'm like, yeah, you're not pulling this off. Like, it's like this weird thing where he's just. It's almost like he's evil. Like there's weird. It's like unnecessarily evil. Like there's. All right, I'm gonna spoil one thing about it. Like the part that I saw, there's a portion where the guy, one of the dudes on the crew, he was the Asian guy on the crew. He screws up. He leaves his shotgun back in one of the cars they switched from.
Yeah.
To get away, one of the getaway cars, and you don't think anything of it. But then the Baby Driver shows up for the next meeting, and then he's like, "Where's so and so?" And he's like. And Jamie Foxx, like, really over the top and, like, really broadly active is like, oh, him? You don't have to worry about him no more. And I'm like, dude, are you on a soap opera? What are you doing? And then it turns out, like, they just murdered this dude for leaving the shotgun back.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeesh.
I'm like, so which one is it? The crew? So they murdered this guy? So, like, are you rooting for the crew? Or is it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't watch the whole movie, but that turned me off. I was like,
Yeah, I
when,
see it.
when you usually have a crew of guys in a heist movie like this, they're like together. Like maybe you have a whole scene where one of the guys wants to kill him for doing it, and the other one's like, "No, man, we're a crew. We do this together." Like that's what I'd rather see. But
Yeah.
like, it was weird. Like, and then he's walking back with Kevin Spacey in the car, and like the dude's body is just like his blood just pouring out of the trunk. And I'm like,
Right.
this just seemed unnecessary to me. Like it didn't seem like I wasn't like, oh man, that's pretty cool twist, or that's pretty cool character, that's pretty cool. You know, it was nothing like that. I was just like, oh, this is just kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But you liked it a lot.
I liked that a lot. I thought it was, again, an entertaining movie. Sometimes that's just all I need. Like, just laying at home one time, just watching them.
Yeah, I was in a hotel room.
Popcorn flick is, I guess.
Popcorn
you know?
flick, yeah. I was in a hotel room just and then it was on. I'm like, oh, this is Baby Driver. Then I
That
started watching
perfect
it.
for
yeah,
that.
Yeah. But it took me out of it. Like Jamie Foxx took me out of it.
It did. That was a little hyped up, too, if I remember.
What,
a
him
lot of
being in it?
No, the whole movie, Baby Driver.
It was.
You know?
It was hailed as like this amazing word of mouth. People were like, oh my god, baby. Half the people hated it, half the people loved it. That was like
Yeah.
one of those kind of things.
I did just watch the final season of House of Cards without Spacey. And they write him out real quick.
Real quick.
Real quick.
Yeah, you can tell people.
I won't spoil it anymore because it just
okay.
came out. But
I saw the first episode.
There is very little mention of him. I mean, they build it up as,
First episode, they mentioned him a couple times.
Yeah. They have
And then
to
they
address
make,
it. But
And they actually, there's a really great thing they do with a callback to something he did, but
Yes.
they switch it.
Yeah.
Something with the bird.
Yep.
Yeah. That's actually, I think that was pretty good writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's an entertaining show, man.
And she carries the show. Like she's
Yeah.
good. Like her character's pretty freaking ruthless.
Yeah.
And really fun to watch.
A lot of breaking the fourth wall in this season, though. More
Oh,
than I
really?
think ever. They're like,
Well,
She
that's
just looked-
called last minute. Here's like this was
we need a line. We need a line.
Yeah,
Just
this-
talk to the camera.
Yeah, that's called. This was a Spacey scene, but now it's a narration scene. That's funny.
2 RIPs this week. Stan Lee,
Stan Lee is
who
dead.
created a movie world without probably meaning to.
Yeah,
Obviously we all know his
he
comic.
created a whole universe.
Yeah, universe is the better word.
Are you a big comic book guy?
No, but
No.
I watch those movies and I think I enjoy them
Yeah.
to the level I can without like being a comic book guy.
Yeah, like we have friends that like
Yeah, diehards.
probably took it really hard because he's almost responsible for their existence.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Mike Lawrence. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sure he like had a
Still in mourning.
Stan Lee stuffed animal and he stuffed Stan Lee in his bed. But like, and also Greg Stone
Greg,
too, right?
I was at Greg's house that day.
Oh, was he all right?
He was surrounded by all his action figures.
You just made that sound like an obituary.
I know.
He'd be like, Greg Stone, he died in his apartment surrounded by his loved ones and action figures. What was the other IP?
The other one, it was kind of it was way lesser known one.
Spike Lee, which is kind of ironic. No, actually, did you see that? Some newspaper in the middle of the country had a picture of Stan Lee, but it said Spike Lee has died.
The picture would have been better if reversed. Stan Lee dies. The picture of a black guy. Douglas Rain, who was the voice of HAL 9000 in
yes.
2001.
Yes.
Space Odyssey.
That's right,
Which
Andy.
leads
us to what?
right into our big Defend Your Movie topic of the day, which I'm so excited for.
Oh, because the director-wise?
The director.
Do you want to see what the connection is so you can announce the movies?
The director of 2001: A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick,
Yep.
also directed my defending movie today, Full Metal Jacket.
And Francis Ford Coppola directed my pick of the day, Apocalypse Now.
Yes, in honor of Veterans Day.
In honor of Veterans Day, we're doing these movies.
A couple war movies.
My dad was, if you're just in the military, you're a veteran, right?
I believe
my
so.
dad never went to Vietnam, but he was in the Marines.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was in the Marine Reserves.
Yes.
So, but he said the only thing he had to do was there was a mail strike. He never went to Vietnam. There was a mail strike.
Letter carrier.
They had to deliver mail for like a weekend. And that was
Well,
it.
my old ass dad is a Army World War II veteran.
Holy shit. I forgot about how old
It's a
your dad
true
is.
story. Served in 1945, yeah, in Burma, which we now know today is Myanmar.
Yeah, it's not even. Wait, so did he? And did he even talk to you about World War II?
Oh yeah, he's pretty open about it. He was in engineering corps. He was a mechanical engineer his whole life, and he went to college for like a year.
Your dad's like a real serious guy, right?
No, not at all.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
Very happy guy. Yeah, not very serious at all.
But so when was he like working on the planes while they were in battle? Like before?
Oh no, their job, they would like it was more civil engineering stuff where they would like build bridges and dig ditches and tunnels.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of what his stories they were like.
Well, that sounds more dangerous than fighting because you're going
not,
before.
You got to like have somebody watch your back while you're building shit. Yeah, they built like all the in-country bridges and
infrastructure.
stuff. Yeah, infrastructure, perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. Did
Yeah.
he say he like cheated death?
No, he never at least told me anything like
yeah.
that. But he's has some crazy stories of just like his platoon mates and jungle. Like he's like there was a cobra, like actual cobra, just like right next to us, and we all just like tiptoed away and just like
the cobra just watched them go?
Yeah, ran.
Holy shit.
Where I was like, and just insane stories like that.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he went to boot camp.
photos and stuff.
My dad went to boot camp in the same place as I think they filmed it in Paris Island.
Yes.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yes.
And that's where he went to boot camp. And I think I remember talking to my dad when he was still alive about how it's a really fair representation of what boot camp is.
Yeah, I think it's the most accurate because
Well, I'm going to start off.
Okay.
'Cause I just complimented your movie, and I do like both movies. But I'll tell you right now, the biggest critique of your pick of the day is it's like two movies, which could be
Sure.
cool, but the first half is the better. They falls off the cliff after the first.
maybe. I don't think so. So to pull back the curtain a little bit, when we text each other and our producer Alex what we're going to decide to fight over this week, this was a real big like, are you kidding me? And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know it was.
So this is a real good one.
I really can't believe that you.
I can't believe you think Apocalypse Now is the better picture.
How do you not see that?
I'll go down the fucking list.
Okay, go for it.
All right, let's start at the top. Director. You think Coppola's a better director than Kubrick?
Who has more hits?
I think Kubrick is it's not about hits. It's not about dollars and cents.
Who's a
always.
better director? I think you match them up.
Tough. That's what I'm saying. It's a tough one, but I think
as far as like
who had
popularity
more
goes,
crap. Coppola.
Who had what?
More crap. I mean, The Outsiders.
He had
was
more
fucking-
crap, but he also like
There's a bunch of
Stanley
garbage
Kubrick was more selective. He was
Yeah,
definitely-
very
he's-
much
he's
so.
Definitely
I mean,
more
he made a
selective.
movie once a decade if you're lucky.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
Maybe.
I think.
But out of that, you got the full quality, not quantity.
I
don't-
but
quantity
Kubrick
isn't-
had some crap. Like Kubrick had. What did he do that?
I
wasn't
mean,
that
Barry
great?
Lyndon, I guess, is a long, super long period.
My dad
piece.
loved Barry Lyndon.
But it's beautiful. Like, you can take away great aspects. I can't say like that for The Outsiders. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's a fun cast.
Outside is a pretty.
Diane Lane's hot. You know?
Outside is a pretty cool movie. Well, you got
It's a fine movie,
He
but
also
I mean,
did-
it's not. If you put it up to the canon of Kubrick, you've got Strangelove, 2001, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut's even great. I even love that one.
Well, Eyes Wide Shut wasn't considered.
Shining. Oh, the hits.
Yeah, but
Coppola, you got The Godfather, so you got Apocalypse Now. I can that's 3 movies.
The Godfather is a freaking nuclear bomb as far as hits go. You want to talk about like what is it?
I know
Top
they
10
both
of
are.
AFI's like 100 top movies. It won like
So
every
is The Shining.
Oscar.
Shining's up there.
Shining's up there.
not a Godfather,
But if
but
you
I'm
put
saying.
if you put Shining up against Godfather, which we wouldn't
Sure.
do on the show because they don't have a connection, but like if you put Shining up against Godfather, I think most people would rather watch The Godfather. Actually, I might be
I don't
wrong
know.
about that, but at my head, I would rather watch The Godfather.
Tough one for me. But
More
yeah.
quotable? What's more quotable?
Godfather.
Godfather.
I quoted it when I walked in the door.
What's more quotable? Well, I'll tell you, but you might win quotable for today. Full Metal Jacket
No,
versus...
Full Metal Jacket's pretty damn quotable. Full Metal Jacket's all. I mean, they're both hardcore Vietnam movies where you both kind of have to be in the right mind to sit through the entire. Apocalypse Now is way too long, dude. It's so long. It's so long.
Well, not only is
And-
Apocalypse Now long, to give your point here, but then they came out about 10 years ago. They came out with Redux and it made it longer. But it's great. It's
No one was
great.
asking for more.
I know, but it's great. It's really great.
But what you said earlier, I think you can apply the same thing. Apocalypse Now is almost. It's a lot of vignettes. It's almost 2 movies in itself, too. You have the whole buildup, and then you have the whole river, and then you have the whole Colonel Kurtz. It's a lot.
I think Apocalypse Now beats it. I think head-to-head you can go director-wise. I think story-wise it beats it. That's one of my favorite stories of all time. 'Cause I remember they taught us Heart of Darkness when I was in school.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the coolest types of stories ever. Like going out to get a general who's gone crazy. to go
Yeah,
pick
it's
him
a
up.
cool story.
I think it gets it that way. I think cast you can go head-to-head.
Well, I mean, you got
think
Brando and Martin Sheen, which is pretty tough to beat. But I mean, what about? See, I think Apocalypse Now is more. I don't know. I don't want to
You
say
know,
corny, but
let's
it's more. Full Metal Jacket's more real. You know what I mean? Like that gives you Gunnery Sergeant, played by Arlie Ermey. I mean, is the most realistic.
I would say.
I mean, the way he dresses down every recruit, that is a beautiful scene.
Full Metal Jacket is a Kubrick movie, and Apocalypse Now is an epic movie.
I disagree. I mean, I
I-
agree that
like-
it's epic, but I think they're both epic.
And you know how it's almost like I think like whatever Michael Mann is doing, like I always think Michael Mann is overrated, right? And I think what Michael Mann does in his movies is trying to replicate what Francis Ford Coppola does in his movies. You have these slow, beautifully shot, drawn out movies that you can still make interesting. Think about how long that freaking movie is, and they added to it and everything. And the pontoon boat coming up on the fireworks, like there's so many scenes.
So much unnecessary scenes, though. Like, do we need? I mean, I'm now confused with like what is in Redux and what's in the original.
Well, don't
Now,
worry about it. Yeah.
I mean, the whole Playboy, like.
Well,
you know,
there's an extra
that's-
Playboy scene in
Right.
Redux, but the Playboy, I think that's a cool. How awesome is that shot?
Yeah, all right, but don't talk
Also-
to me about better shots, dude. That is the much prettier picture is Full Metal Jacket. The shots,
The war shot, the war
tone,
scenes,
the music.
the music. Oh, dude, one of the best musical inserting music into a scene is at the end. This is the end when he's coming up out of the water.
Okay.
That's one of the best things ever in film ever.
I'll counterpoint that with the same thing. The use of the Mickey Mouse song as they are now marching through Vietnam is one of my favorite things ever. It's dark. It's darkly
but
funny.
it's not as iconic.
I think it's pretty iconic.
No,
I mean,
Alex.
what? He's
no.
the third. He's an impartial. You can't see. You know the jury's on your side on that one.
No,
You can't just
no.
go to him for support.
It's so because it's so fitting. It's so perfect. It's so creepy. It's so. Whenever I see something shot like that, when you're shooting stuff, low light type of stuff, I always think is so because after a while you know what must go in to shoot it, and then him shooting the scene where he's going to assassinate him.
Mm-hmm.
It's shot in like pitch blackness, but you can make out everything. It's artistic. It makes sense. Everything works.
How you can argue artistic with Kubrick? I mean, the beautiful the sniper scene when it's.
Honestly, I think Full Metal Jacket is one of his least artistic movies. I think it's
know,
very
man.
realistic. I think
definitely. I think it's
very
a great
like you
combination
said
of both.
before. It's very real. But I think if you're going for style, I think oh my god, Apocalypse Now is like it's all style. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
That has nothing to do with style.
I mean that whole like the look of that shot when it comes down and they're bombing that whole field. Like I don't know the way you go shot for shot in these movies. Apocalypse Now just blows it away.
I disagree. I don't think so.
Well, name the shots.
I can name you like
when they're walking
specific,
through.
the sniper scene is super when he zooms in like she's looking through her scope, and it's when Cowboy gets assassinated. It's a beautiful, almost Scorsese-ish zoom in. You know how he does those fast, but it's a beautiful like scope. You can, I love it's gut wrenching, man.
But it's not memorable as much as like
All right, I know
head,
it's not
head popping out of the
surfing.
water.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's as memorable as that scene. I mean, that is an iconic, the head popping out of the water.
And Apocalypse Now has its real parts, like when they.
Well, yeah, he had a
when
heart
he's-
attack.
Well, yeah. Well, that's
Real-
the
had a real heart
That's how
attack.
real Apocalypse Now is.
know.
They made
Oh,
a
but
movie
yeah,
about
but
how
dude.
much of a
But if you know how much
clusterfuck it
a
was.
madman Kubrick was, like he had Arlie Ermy rehearse with Leon Vitali. Oh, by the way, just a side note, there's a great documentary called Film Worker. It's about Stanley Kubrick's assistant who plays a character in Barry Lyndon, and then he goes, I was so fascinated with Stanley Kubrick, I gave up acting to just become his assistant for the rest of his life. He was like,
Really?
casting director. He just did everything Kubrick needed. He just fucking followed him around like a puppy, and like the way he worked people to death, we were like, Jesus Christ. So like the realism and getting everything right, he had Arlie Ermy rehearse outside of the recruits, so their reactions would
And
be
Arlie Army
genuine.
was an actual drill instructor.
And there's a really cool story about how he got that part. If you remember in Full Metal Jacket when Private Joker and Rafterman are finally coming in country on the helicopter, there's a guy, the guy shooting on the helicopter, he's just shooting civilians. And
Yeah,
just like,
yeah. That's
if they're
a fucked up
standing,
scene.
they're dead VI. If they're running, whatever, something.
Yeah, it's a really creepy scene.
That was the guy who was supposed to play Gunnery Sergeant Harmon. I think that's the name. I might be wrong on that one.
Oh, really?
And Arlie Ermy was the consultant on the film. And he just said to him, he goes, I know I was born for this role. He goes, I know I could do that better. So he videotaped, he had somebody tape him like actually, going through a training. Yeah, first like that.
Wow.
And so Kubrick, it came across Kubrick's eyes and he was like, yeah, we can't. He was undeniable.
And that
Which is amazing.
And I think he was in stuff before. Was he in stuff before this?
No.
This
He
is
goes,
the first
that opened
thing.
up everything. He goes, I never didn't work after that.
Yeah. No, he was in like Saving Silverman. Remember that?
Yeah. And
Well-
he wrote like 50% of that dialogue because a lot of it was just, off the top of his head.
Of course, because he did the job.
Yeah.
Right? He had that job.
Yeah.
Well, you know who was the original Martin Sheen? You know who that part was originally?
Harrison Ford's in it.
Harrison Ford's in it.
Who?
Harvey Keitel. They
Weird. I
filmed.
don't know if I knew that.
They filmed like 10% of the movie with Harvey Keitel, and they got rid of him. They had posters with Harvey Keitel on the poster
I love
for
those.
Apocalypse
I love-
Now.
I love all those.
love when that happens, like the
Yeah.
Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, that's what I was
Back
thinking.
to the Future.
Yeah.
And it's funny when people talk about it years later. The Eric Stoltz thing, they always talk about. They go, "Oh well, he just had a different take on comedy," and he's like, "No, he couldn't be funny." That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Like he didn't
No,
get
Michael
the
J. Fox
comedy.
is perfect.
Michael J. Fox is perfect for Back to the Future, but I love when that kind of stuff happens in movies.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. And I just think, and then that'll bring you into cast. Like, Martin Sheen, like, besides West Wing, it's probably the best thing that he's done. And then also Martin Sheen, oh no, that's a Terry Gilliam movie, Badlands. He's good in Badlands, but like,
I can't think of enough Martin Sheen movies, but I would probably agree with that. I loved him on West Wing.
but I would say Apocalypse Now is the best thing he's done. Harrison Ford is in it, has a small role.
Yeah.
You got the guy from Godfather, what's his name, the character actor? He's Mr. Corleone. When he mispronounces his name. What's that guy's name? The senator. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He's like, my offer is this. Nothing.
yeah.
That guy's in it.
Yep.
Who else is in Apocalypse Now? Marlon Brando. Like, I think you put casts up against each other.
Very young, what's his name? On the boat. He's
Lawrence
like
Fishburne.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah. And that's a crazy scene too, where they think they kill the dog and stuff like that. Like it fires into the boat.
Yeah.
I just feel like I watch my first thoughts on both of those movies. Full Metal Jacket, I'm like the beginning. There's times where I'll watch all of Apocalypse Now. If it's on, I'll flip test it. I'll go back to it and I'll watch it. Right?
I think
Full Metal Jacket, I'll watch to the beginning and then I check out, I don't check out.
Interesting. This might be. I'm the exact opposite. I will always flip past the flip test for Full Metal Jacket. Apocalypse Now comes pretty close too, because here's the thing about arguing against a movie you also love. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I do love
know.
Apocalypse Now too.
I know, so it's kind of hard to do it. But that's
I just
why
think for me, Full Metal Jacket's a better movie. I just can't. I don't know. And overall, I think it's a better picture.
I just think
I like the characters more. I get I don't know. I enjoy the Private Joker. I enjoy D'Onofrio as Pyle and the way he kind of becomes like he's really good at kind of being a sniper.
Yeah, but it's one of the most memorable things from the movie. It's like the thing that really stands out.
Titular line, the
it's a pretty
jacket.
well. Apparently he had.
What's your major malfunction? I mean, it's so good.
After that movie, I heard D'Onofrio had like his pick of he wanted to do stuff. And he turned down a bunch of big roles because he wanted to be like an actor.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens.
Criminal Intent. Oof.
Criminal Intent, I love.
I hate it.
Criminal Intent is like, oh, he's so annoying in it. And I'm like, he's not.
Isn't he supposed to be like?
He's supposed to be like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
He's in Law and Order: Criminal Intent. If you don't know what we're talking about, and he plays detective. Yeah, and he's weird in it. But you know what? That show would be boring if he wasn't in it. That show would be real if he wasn't being the weirdo in Criminal Intent.
Yeah, that's what turns me off.
He's great at playing a creep. Every movie he does that he plays a creep, people love him. Like The Cell. He's like known for this. Remember The Cell?
Yes.
That movie sucked, but they remember him in it because he's so.
Vince Vaughn and what's her name? I can't think
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez.
And then Vince Vaughn doing his drama, which is like that lasted 2 movies.
Inside the Mind of a Killer.
And then he was in the remake of Magnificent Seven. He played like this fur trapper guy.
I couldn't get through the remake.
It was. I watched it in the theaters, and I was like, yeah, it was whatever. But he's a fun part of it. D'Onofrio is just a great actor. There's a story. I think I might have said this story in the podcast. Apparently, this is years ago. I think it was in the newspaper or like online. He made a big stink in an NBC work meeting because they were talking about how they had restrictions on what they could look at. Employees could look at on their internet, like they had they had internet blockers.
Right.
And he was like, "Well, what if you work for NBC? You're an actor and you play a child pornographer, and you have to do research for it." Or you're
fair question.
Yeah, exactly. And apparently he like made a scene in this meeting, like lost his mind, and just walked out of the meeting. Like, I think he's that kind of guy. I think he's like one of these guys that's just very like. He can be cool, and he's probably very volatile.
Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter, and he'll like just answer random people's like stupid questions, and then he'll like chastise people. Like people will be like, "Hey, Detective Gorin," and he'll be like, "I told you for the 3rd time, stop calling me." And like it just be like he'll say random shit on whatever it is. But yes, I think when it comes down to these movies, I think for me personally, when you go. Yeah, because you like if you take the topics we just discussed, like even script wise. Apocalypse Now has a great script. I think there's iconic lines from both movies.
Yeah, both movies. I mean, I give the script to Full Metal Jacket too.
Whatever your aim is, like, so at the end of the day, which is a better movie, Apocalypse Now? Just because
I don't think it meanders so much for me.
No,
to the point where, like, yeah, you can make the argument that Full Metal Jacket is kind of 2 separate movies, but at least it follows what it accomplishes to get done. You have, and it's more developmental than anything than two movies. And I'll give you an example is when Private Joker first comes into country and they're making fun of him because he doesn't have the 1,000-yard stare. They're like, "You never been in country, you never seen action before because you would have it." Because he kind of says to Cowboy, he's like, "Yeah, I've been in the shit before," and you don't know if he's kind of lying or not. And then at the end, and then the whole second half of the movie is him in action the whole time, and you see his character develop to the point, and that's why when it's such a beautiful dark ending when they're marching in literally fire in the ruins of Vietnam, singing the happiest song, the Mickey Mouse, the club song. But it goes, he does now. You see it. He has the 1,000-yard stare now. And he goes, "I'm not afraid anymore. I've seen death. I'm not afraid of it anymore." Yeah, so it's like it's really more his journey. It's not 2 movies. It's his journey from start to finish. It's 2 separate kind of stories, but it's still his movie the whole time.
But that's what I mean. Like, all right, that's character development, but to me that's not. Like, I think the story of Apocalypse Now was a way more a fun story than Full Metal Jacket. I think it's a cooler story because it's a mission. It's a mission. It's also dealing with morality. It's dealing with the idea of the military and obeying orders and and also like betraying a fellow military comrade, for lack of a better phrase.
I think they both have a lot of that. I think that was, Full Metal Jacket's got a lot of that. It's got a lot of betrayal in it when he takes Pyle under his wing, but then he has the donut in his footlocker, and instead of punishing Pyle,
They punish
R. Lee
everybody else.
Ermey, he punishes by he crowdsources it.
Yeah.
And so they all give what's called the blanket party. You know, they hold him down with the towel, and they all fucking put the soap.
Yeah, I
And-
can't watch that scene. I feel too bad when I watch that scene.
Joker doesn't want to do it, and you know, I think Rafterman or one of the other guys is like, "Come on, man, do it!" And he relents. He does it, you know. So that's a betrayal, and I think that might.
And that's part of him turning over.
It always sticks with him. He goes, "Did I send Lawrence Private Pyle over the edge?" He's like, "Did I play a part in that?"
It's a good point. Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of the whole thing with I can't remember Adam Baldwin's character. Maybe not 8 Ball, but one of the Lust Hogs, which I believe is the squad's name.
One of the what?
The Lust Hog Squad, I believe, is the name of their like infantry division when they finally catch up with Joker and Cowboy. When they latch on to that group and they eventually go and they find the sniper.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of toward the end of the movie. There's a lot of kind of I don't know what you would call it, in-house fighting amongst who should lead, who should make the right call, what they should do, you know? And a lot of good old-fashioned racism in it too. You know, with just like the black soldiers and the white soldiers, the whole the whole hooker scene.
You had the hooker scene.
I mean, that's pretty iconic. With boots were made for walking.
Yeah. Well, that's the immediate scene right after their boot camp.
Yeah.
When they're all hanging out.
That's so great, man.
Both movies have
Tubo
great soundtracks. I forgot Dennis Hopper, Apocalypse Now, great character, playing the photographer.
Is he?
Playing the
He's kind of annoying.
What?
He's just, I don't know how how does that guy, how is that realistic, that
Well, he's
whole
part of the
island?
cult.
I
He's part
know,
of the
but
cult.
yeah, I guess so.
There's the great scene where they get, what's his name?
That to me is why I love Full Metal Jacket more. It's just such a more realistic picture. That it gets cartoonish at the end, Apocalypse Now, where it's just like, you know, he's a great man. You know, it's like, no, he's not. He's a fucking psychopath, Colonel.
Yeah, but that's what made it so much more interesting. 'Cause it was like,
guess.
it was almost like Vietnam was the setting, but it wasn't a Vietnam movie. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't
Good point.
technically, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like, and that's why it was so much more fun because you had like because there's like,
I'm
you have a
not
lot of
saying
tropes
it's
that
not
happen.
more
in-
fun, but I don't always need to have fun. Sometimes I watch a very dark, serious, movie with gravitas.
But it had that. The scene with
It does
Martin
have
Sheen
that.
in the hotel room, and the night before he gets the report, the mission to go get this guy, and he's like drunk and punching the mirror and bleeding and just in his underwear and just really raw.
But I think Full Metal Jacket is more darkly funnier. I think that.
You think so?
Yeah.
No, the funnier, yes.
It's dark humor, but it's got humor.
Yeah, but I think Apocalypse Now has. I think it's like the Godfather of war movie. Like I think what happens when it comes down to is like, I think Apocalypse Now to me pulls me in more than Full Metal Jacket does.
Interesting.
Because I think because and like I said before, I'll reiterate like what those kind of guys do. Think about how I don't make movies, but like from watching movies for 40 years, 35 whatever, 25 years. Like, think about how hard it is to make a long movie interesting the entire time. I know I said this already, but it's true. It's like even though there's like you think it meanders, but I'm like I don't see that way. I'm like it just kind of takes me in.
Okay.
It's almost like it's like creepily relaxing as I'm watching it.
I get that.
You know what I'm saying? You're watching it.
Both movies are very. I get what you're saying, and both movies have that unsettling comfortability. If that makes sense, they're both unsettling movies with what they deal with, and literally. Colonel Kurtz puts it the best at the end with the horror.
Yeah.
That Vietnam was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the horror.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
You can't understand it unless you were there, unless you saw the things that those guys saw. And I think both movies are great. I don't know if we're going to get one.
I don't know if we'll get a winner. I don't know if we'll get a winner. But I do know that I think the brand. I think you just kind of said it. I think having Brando, like that's the most. I think Marlon Brando has played how he really was in real life. Because apparently he was just a
was
nut.
a little chubby.
And he was chubby in it, but he also like.
I heard he was a bit of a pill on set.
He's a pill in every set he had.
Yeah.
There's Island of Dr. Moreau. They had a whole thing where he wouldn't come out of his trailer
right.
until Val Kilmer came out, and then he just would wait, and then he just made up scenes and stuff like that. So by that point,
I never saw Burrow.
What?
I know of it, but I never watched it.
I watched it. It's terrible. Somebody said there's a certain point in the movie that Val Kilmer just starts doing an impression of Marlon Brando.
Oh, that's
like Val
hilarious.
Kilmer they all just gave up. They all just made up.
Right.
And then Marlon Brando told them, like, would start making up dialogue and whatever else it was. There's a documentary about that. The guy who directed Island of Dr. Moreau, he went crazy on set, or he was kicked off of the set or something like
Wow.
that, and he snuck back on and pretended he was an extra, and he's in one of the scenes of the movie.
That's so funny.
Isn't that funny? But I think you kind of that to me is a big card too, as far as the battle of movies. Come on, just having that whole exchange between him and Sheen in the. Think about it this way: it's like
All right.
how much it's been. I guess this happens with Full Metal Jacket too.
Well,
but
I will.
How much it's
I'll
been mocked
give you
by
this.
popular culture?
I was just gonna say, I'll give you that one. That Apocalypse Now's.
Elaine Bennis.
You know where I was going.
Here's our Seinfeld
Jay
reference.
Peterman.
Alex.
Here's the Seinfeld one. Are you a grocery come to collect a bill?
And she's like, no, I work for you at the J. Peterman catalog.
Majama! Majama!
He's like,
You speak Burmese?
He's
That
like-
was gibberish.
He goes, no, Elaine, that was gibberish. He goes, the best, what does he say? He goes, can you sign this for me? And he's like, of course. I'll just have to see this hat, though. So good. And there's also,
But he's in the Burmese jungle and quite mad from what I hear.
there's also a great Simpsons scene that's based off of
man,
Monet.
you're reading my mind.
Yeah, where Homer goes to pick up Maggie at the daycare,
Uh-huh.
and all the kids, she freed the kids from the daycare,
Yes.
and she gives them all their pacifiers back,
Uh-huh.
and they're all, it's just like Full Metal Jacket when he gets the guy, I forget his name in Full Metal Jacket, I mean, just like Apocalypse Now, when he gets the guy back, he's
Yes.
like with all the cult members,
Yeah.
and he can't find him, and then he
There's 2 and 1 in that one too. There's a Birds reference in there too. He's stepping all the little. It's just it's pin drop quiet, and Homer's stepping over
Yes.
all the babies as Tippi Hedren does at the Birds.
yes, yeah.
They're really banging on all cylinders on that episode. The
then-
references,
even
and
this-
then you actually see Alfred Hitchcock walk by in that scene.
Walking your dog.
Yeah.
And then there's this, and then even the sound of the pacifiers is supposed to be like the Apocalypse Now sound.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got to wrap up, but
All right.
basically, I think what I have is, I think you have, like I said, my closing statement is I think one is a movie, one is an epic. I don't think Kubrick, it's not the best thing Kubrick's done. To be honest, it might be, to me, maybe not. Maybe Godfather edges it out, but it's as epic as The Godfather. It's like
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now. Like I think
Oh, I don't know about
it's
that.
making that, and it's
I highly
you're
disagree.
doing something. It's done on such a grander scale. Like Full Metal Jacket, yeah, it's just kind of straight up. Apocalypse Now is like think about how the movie made about the process of this movie that his wife did called Hearts of Darkness, like where he went mad making the movie. That's how big this movie was. This guy he almost probably died making this movie, Coppola.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this one just comes down to a matter of personal opinion.
Personal opinion.
Which is great, because that's why obviously it's all subjective, and we defended our movies.
We did.
Sometimes you don't always get a winner. Sometimes you don't bring one guy over.
It might be a tie on this one because they're too beloved.
I love.
Oh, I got a good idea. Let's ask Alex what he thinks.
Oh, fuck off.
What?
Then I could. All right. I will tell you this. I asked Jacob at SiriusXM, and he went Full Metal Jacket.
No
Uh-huh.
way. Doesn't this seem like a no-brainer to you? That
That's
people
why
would
it seems
say,
like a no-brainer to me.
No brainer.
no-brainer.
Oh, you guys are nuts.
One's just a.
Well, tell us what you
It's
think.
not. You know what it is? I think mostly because it's not the best thing that Kubrick's done.
Right.
I don't think. But, likewise, it's not the best thing Coppola's done. It's not better than Godfather. It's not better than Godfather 2.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. So is Full Metal Jacket's up there. We'll throw this one out to the fan. We'll put it up tomorrow, and we'll see where people go with it.
We'll put it up. It's coming up Friday. You guys let us know. Chime in. Email us.
First time in a while we haven't had an agreement on one. And the other thing too, I love Apocalypse Now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me personally, I like Full Metal Jacket better. I
It
think it's
edges
a
it
better
out.
movie.
Edges it out.
I love both. I love the way both movies end. I love the horror. I love that. I love Mickey Mouse song.
Email us, defendyourmovie@gmail.com. Let us know what pick you have, what you think
Hit us
won.
up on Twitter too. Yeah.
What movie you would rather watch if they pass the flip test for you. The flip test is when you flip through the channels and you see a movie you like. Do you go back to it or you keep
you
moving
stuck?
on? You're stuck.
That's a close one. Both movies are so long. It's kind of like I got to do something. You know what I mean?
I know, yeah. But yeah, no, they are both really long. So they're like, I'll be on my phone a little bit while they're, because I know them so well. You know?
Yeah.
Also,
I could go
follow
on.
us on Twitter at Defend Your Movie. Follow me on Twitter at Shawnee Time. Follow Andy on Twitter at Andy Fiore.
Andy
right?
Fiore, and I don't know. Well, maybe we'll do one. We have Thanksgiving next week, so we'll get one out. Maybe we'll theme it around something.
Yeah,
Do
we actually can do like
talked about
home
it
for the
already.
holidays or something like that.
But,
we'll figure it out.
You going home for the holidays,
If you have
my
any
friend?
I am. I'm going to
Nice.
Long Island. You going to Jersey?
Going to Jersey. I got a Thanksgiving Eve show in Rutherford, New Jersey at Paisanos. If it's not sold out, it usually does sell out every year. Please come and say hi. The Comedy Shop does a little pop-up show. It's so much fun.
Perfect.
Everybody's partying home for the pre-Thanksgiving dinner.
If you're listening, let us know what should we match up for Thanksgiving next week before we do.
Good one.
Email us or tweet at us at defendyourmovie at
I got some
gmail.com.
ideas.
Thank you so much to Showbiz Studios. That's
Thanks, Alex.
showbizstudios.com. They have a YouTube page. They also have an iTunes page. Check out all the amazing podcasts on showbizstudios.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.
My friend, there's a time